Greetings. Joe Jackson here, co-pastor, the Church at Wellington. We've arrived here at day number 17 of our 21 days of concentrated prayer and fasting. The title for our devotion today is simply One Riot, One Ranger, taken out of Exodus chapter number 14, verses 19 and 20. I'll read those verses and then share a few comments with you. Verse number 19 says, "The angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud went from before them and stood behind them. And so it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud and darkness to the one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that the one did not come near the other all that night." The Israelites had one problem with the go forward command that they heard before. There was nowhere to go. But there were specific instructions from God on what to do, but just simply not how to proceed, really. We'll talk a little bit more about that in tomorrow's devotion. But for today, focus on the two verses that we just read. The fire cloud came and rested all the way to the ground, making a barrier between Israel and the Egyptian army so that no one could go anywhere. Towards the Egyptians, nothing but darkness. Maybe that reminded them of the plague of darkness that they had had to suffer through just a little bit before this. But toward the Israelites, there was a comforting, warm glow of fire. There was something different about the fire cloud mentioned here in verse number 9, though. It was accompanied by an angel from God. Divine protection came along with the fire cloud, not just warmth and guidance. There's a story about a small town in the Old West which was experiencing an oncoming riot. It was being stirred up by a band of outlaws. The sheriff of that small Texas town knew that he and his deputies could not handle this problem, so he sent a telegram to the office of the Texas Rangers explaining the problem and asking for help. The response came back very quickly to him that help was on its way and would be there in 2 days on the train. Anxiously awaiting the arrival of the Rangers, he went to the train station and waited for them. The train finally arrived. From out of the smoke and steam of the locomotive stepped one single Texas Ranger. The sheriff ran up to the man and asked him if there were to be more Rangers to come. The Ranger simply replied, "One riot, one Ranger." In theological circles, sometimes they debate things like how many angels can dance on the head of a pin or something silly like that. And here in this portion of our passage, the question really is, how many angels does it take to stop the entire Egyptian army with all of their horses and all of their chariots? Answer is very simple. One army, one angel. Allow yourself time today to remember all of the accounts in the Bible where there's a mighty working of God. No matter what the odds are, there is more power in one angel that is sent from God than there is in any massive attack that God's people will ever face. Allow me to throw maybe a kind of a cheesy ending here to the end of this devotion. That is to slightly change the words of one of my favorite cartoon characters, Underdog. And let me change it to say this: never fear, Jesus is here. Remember this, you serve an incredibly great God, and so you can really afford to expect great things in return from Him. May God bless you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.